Good morning.
Good morning, Brother Jason.
I always struggle when I'm asked to do this, and first part of the week, I had an idea, and I said, okay, I'll kind of go with this, and I worked on that for a little while. Let me move my computer here.
Change my life. I don't know if I changed it.
Whoa, there went the cord. Glad that wasn't a desktop. Big trouble. But anyway, so I was building my PowerPoint. That's how I like to do it. And I was building my PowerPoint with the message that I was going to do. And I came across a picture. I don't remember even how I saved it, but for some reason or another I saved it. But what I do is I go online and I find pictures and use those in the PowerPoint. And I came across a picture, and it's a really disturbing picture. And, I didn't like the picture at all. And I started to delete it. And then I thought, wait a minute. And something occurred to me, and I feel like that's where I was meant to go with this sermon, because I'd never thought about this before. It was a new thought, and you can just tell. So let's get into it. The title of my presentation is Bad Jesus, and I want you to wonder about that. I like to kind of get you thinking, what do I mean by bad Jesus? Here's the picture. And again, this is going to be a little rough to look at, so brace yourselves. This isn't going to be fun, but here's the picture. Oh, well, I came across the picture. Here's the picture. And in this picture, it's a cartoon drawing. That is supposed to be Jesus, and up there at the top, you can probably read it. It says, meanwhile, Jesus and Darwin were fighting again. And you can see that Jesus is clearly choking Darwin. It's kind of a disturbing picture, isn't it? You don't think of Jesus doing that. And that, when I looked at it and I went, boy, I started to delete it. And then I said, you know what? There's a message in here. And so I started to look for other pictures. What other kinds of pictures do people, because people make some disturbing things. They don't like Jesus. And that makes some disturbing pictures. Now, I had to make a couple myself, but I made this one. It doesn't look right, does it? For Jesus to have a big gold chain on. And this looks phony and silly, doesn't it? Look at this one. Gun, now I didn't do this one. Jesus got a toothpick and a gun. Doesn't look right, does it? It looks crazy to us, doesn't it? Anybody disturbed by this? Or just me? To think of Jesus in this mood, that's not right, is it? Now, I made this one. Do you think that's something that Jesus would stand around doing, holding a sign? I had another one where he was holding God hates gays, Do you think that's something Jesus would do? This sign probably, I didn't research the picture that I cut it out of, but it probably comes from that Baptist church that stands around telling, God's proud that soldiers have died. That's terrible. Do you think Jesus would do that? No, he wouldn't do that, would he? What about this one? Now that's crazy, isn't it? Jesus smoking a cigarette. There's something really wrong with that. But what about you and me? I'm going to go somewhere with this. As you were looking at those pictures, did you start to think, what kind of Jesus are you? Because you know what? To some people, we're the only Jesus they'll ever see. Right? And so when they see us, well, let's look at this. This is a quote from Review and Herald. It is the design of God that through man his glory shall be revealed to the world. But it is only those who connect themselves with God in Jesus Christ who can reveal that goodness and that fidelity which Christ manifested in his life. As the branches of the vine are united in the parent stock, so will the children of God be united as one in Christ. Now listen to this. They are to reveal to the world the character of God. We are supposed to reveal to the world Christ. Right? So are you a bad picture of Jesus? You know, I was looking at that picture and it just dawned on me. We're all little images, pictures in a sense of Jesus. So are you an image of Jesus that's fighting all the time and just quarrelsome and hurting people, choking people? I ain't going to say I've never done that. You know, I'm preaching to myself here. Do you wear all kinds of jewelry and fashions to you know, show yourself off, show your wealth off? Is that the kind of person you are? And see, in doing that, are you say you're a Christian, and people see that? You know? What about this? Standing around holding hateful signs. That Baptist church, are they showing people? Because understand this. This is what I come up against. People hate Jesus. And I have to ask myself, do they hate Jesus because he says something they don't like? Or do they hate Jesus because we painted bad pictures of him in our lives? Because we stood around holding the hateful signs. You see what I'm saying? Do you abuse your body with things that you know you should not be doing? And thereby being an example to other people. Well, he's a Christian, he smokes. He's a Christian, he drinks. What's wrong with me doing? You know, right? He's a Christian and he looks at stuff. You know, he shows me stuff on his phone at work. He's a Christian, right? Jesus can't be that big a deal if he's just like me, right? So, understanding that, I think we need to look at the real Jesus. You know, my favorite quote from Miss White is, "By beholding, we are changed." As we behold Christ, we're changed into his image. So I want to do that. Those other pictures, that was just to get your attention. Do I have it? Now I want to show you the real Christ. The Christ that if these people who hate Jesus and made these bad pictures, if they knew this, they'd feel bad that they made the pictures. By the way, I had one picture I wasn't going to show you, but I'll tell you what it was. It was Jesus holding up the middle finger. I know you don't like that one particularly. Can you imagine? I thought about, nah, better not. But that's how ridiculous some things are that people do because they hate Jesus. But do they know the real Jesus? So let's look at it. We're going to run through some things real quick. Okay, the first story I want to run through. Here Jesus is. He's been in the synagogue. A guy comes up. He says, "Hey, my daughter is sick. She's going to die. Please come with me." They're rushing. They're in a hurry. They're going through this crowd. You know, he could argue that he's late. "Please don't bother me. I'm trying to get to this emergency." But in the crowd, a woman reaches out and touches his garment. And does Jesus say, "Man, I ain't got time for you. I don't have time for this. I'm in a hurry"? He says, "Let me stop." Doesn't he? He says, "Let me stop and see about this woman." Because she was healed. But he didn't want to just leave it at that, did he? He wanted to let her know that it's okay. That he loves her. And that she was healed for a reason. Because she trusted him. Trusted in his power. So, there's the real Jesus. The real Jesus wouldn't worry about being late to whatever. Even an emergency. Because the person in front of him is just as important. So that's pretty cool. That's the real Jesus. Let's look at another story. The real Jesus. He comes to a get-together, a prominent member of society, a member of the Sanhedrin has invited him over. And so he comes to their house, and they're all having a nice party. And this woman comes in. And guys, she's not a woman you really want people knowing you know. You know what I'm saying? She is a prostitute. And had demons, okay? And she comes in and she's weeping on his feet. Does he kick his feet and say, go away?